Hey Scorpio, this is your July 2020 reading. I want to build this around a theme, and I'm going to be a little bit more on the general side. I just don't like super specific things or predictive things when it comes to more than one person. I think that creates all sorts of unreasonable expectations, and then honestly those expectations never lead to anywhere good. Now for you guys, I'm going to use a slightly different deck in comparison to what we did with the Mercury retrograde stuff. I do hope that's going well for you. We had a lot of shadow work during that period. Out here, it has been, well, honestly, it's just been pretty interesting. I'm glad it's almost over with, and I believe it ends on July 12th, so not too much longer. So what I'm going to do here is just draw one card, and then we're going to build the whole reading around that theme. So what we have here is the house. Now, a lot of times the house is representative of your own home, but this is also something of feeling really, really secure and safe. So we're just going to shuffle these up some more, and then we're going to build this 9-card box around feeling a little bit more safe, feeling a little bit more secure in our surroundings or just in our life in general. And when you take under consideration the craziness that's still going on out in the world, I think everybody needs to feel a little bit more secure. Things out here are actually shutting down again, and it's chaos. You walk out there and you can literally feel the anxiety in the air. It's challenging to deal with. So let me just move this back here a little bit. So what we have right here in the middle is the letter. That's kind of how I base this. So we're looking to feel a little bit more secure. And then the theme of this reading is communication. A lot of times the letter is like contracts coming into you, or communication between you and your friends, or just any type of communication in general. But the first thing I like to do here is look around the corners. Here we have the bear, the road, we're just going to call this the person, and then the snake. Now the bear is sort of a spiritual type card. It's also a protector. Sometimes it has to do with like mothers or bosses in our life. Sometimes it's even finances. But for the sake of this, we're just going to call it, feeling a little bit stronger and more on, I really feel this is more on the spiritual side. And then we have our road. That road is just traveling down a new path or venturing out to see something new. And of course, that's going to affect our person. And then we have this snake over here again. That snake is the little deceitful stuff that jumps in and bites us every once in a while. It gets a little bit challenging. So while we're taking this journey, what this is telling me is it may have a few challenges here along the way. And then I also like to look at the inner diamond here. Here we have the clover, the ship, the coffin, and the sun. The clover is very, very much a good luck card. That's things happening quickly. That's things going well for you. It doesn't mean you're like going to go win the lottery or anything, but it usually just means luck is on your side. And then we have the ship. That ship makes sense because that ship's traveling right down the new road. That just indicates some type of movement. Now down here when we have the coffin, a lot of times that's seen as a really, really negative card or a challenging situation, but at the end of the day, it really just means something comes to an end. So we have this lucky journey. We may run into a situation where we feel like it's over and we're on the wrong path, but ultimately we end up over here with the sun shining on us, so that indicates a lot of success. So we're taking this spiritual journey. It's going to have a few bumps along the road. The snake's going to pop in. But let's just work out how to do that. I usually like to look at the rows next. The top row is a good way to sort of say, hey, this is the type of stuff you should focus on. When we see the bear, the clover, and the road, that's basically saying, because the clover sometimes can mean quickly too. This spiritual journey that we're going to take, this feeling of being a little bit more protected, we definitely need to journey into things that we haven't really looked at before. Basically, it's a good time to expand your awareness and do a little bit of research, or seek out a little bit of information of other things that you'd like to know about on a spiritual level. And then the middle row is sort of our environment. Here we have the sun, the letter, and the ship. That sun, that's all about success. That sun shining down on it. That sun, in fact, will like radiate the whole spread basically. And then we have the communication and the ship. So what this is saying to me is, while we're going down this new road, it's also going to be a good way to find, or a good time to figure out a way to communicate some of that information out. What are you learning that's new? It's a good way to release when you sit down and write things out. and you learn new things too. So, you know, as you're learning, as you're going down the journey, spend some time, you know, communicating things out. And, you know, also this could also mean you're getting some communication coming in too. And it also has a lot to do with intuitive messages that come into you as well. I don't mean to keep going on and on about it. It's just stuff keeps popping in, so I'm throwing it out there. And then down here at the end, you know, this might look a little bit like a scary line, because that's typically, you know, the way the month ends. It's sort of an outcome. But when we see the snake, the coffin, and then the person, this level of deceit, this level of frustration, this thing that comes in and bites at you, well, it's going to be gone. We're finally going to get rid of it. It's no longer going to be a problem, which just leaves you feeling like you at the end of the month. I also like to do some knighting in these as well, and we can see the person and the clover. You're going to feel lucky, and then the person and the sun, that sun's going to be shining on you as well once we get rid of this deceit. And a lot of ways to get rid of that deceit is to communicate things out. Now, I also like the columns in these. In some cases, this is like a past, present, future type of thing, but I see this more as sort of the beginning of July, the middle of July, and then the end of the month. So at the beginning of the month, you know, we may be pretty stoked or excited about the idea of taking this sort of spiritual journey, expanding our awareness, you know, looking into things that sort of help us feel a little bit safer inside or a little bit more secure in general. You know, some of that could just be like meditative type practices or anything that you can do to sort of clear your mind. But it might be met with a few challenges down here. You know, it might not feel like it's actually going anywhere. It might not feel like things are really working out in your favor. You might get kind of bored with it. But then the middle of the month here, we have the clover, the letter, which we'll just call these intuitive messages or communication. You might just want to say the heck with this. I don't want to do this. You know, this isn't doing anything for me. I don't feel like I'm getting anything out of it. But it's important, I think, to push through it, because here at the end of the month, we're sailing down this new road here again with the road, the ship, and then the person. And then we emerge, you know, and we've finally gotten rid of the snake. So, you know, even with the negatives, things that we see in here, there's an opportunity for us to bypass those. One, you know, if you feel like it's not for you, or that could also mean you need to go down another new road. Or if you feel like you just want to stop, you know, you just want to get back to things that are normal, you know, try to remember to keep pushing through, expand your awareness out a little bit, because the spiritual journey ultimately is going to get rid of that snake that comes up and bites you every once in a while. Now, I can also look at the diagonals. I'm trying not to yammer on too much. My friend made it perfectly clear that I go on and on and on, so I'm trying to keep things just a little bit shorter. But I do think what I like here is the bear, the letter, and then the person. These are like intuitive messages coming into you. It's like communication when you drop into more of a meditative state and you feel more open. Those times when your mind genuinely shuts off and you just let the messages come into you. So you're going to get a lot of intuitive messages coming in this month, and they're likely going to try to push you down this road to expand things out a little bit further. Now, and then we also have the snake, the communication, and the road. This is where that deceit comes into play. You know, this is where it's like, you know what, I'm not sure if this is going to work out for me. I don't know if I'm going to make it over here to this road. So it's going to be sort of a battle between those two, but you need to trust what you feel in your heart. Trust what comes into you intuitively. If it feels right and it feels like you're expanding things, it's ultimately going to get you down this new road. You're going to be rid of this snake. And when we get rid of those levels of deceit in ourselves, or those times where we question ourselves and we don't feel fully confident, we ultimately end up in a place where we absolutely feel more secure, we feel more safe, and then there's just continued opportunity for growth. So just to quickly summarize this month, you know, spend some time exploring your spiritual side, look for new things, try to get down like a new path or a new road, trust the intuitive messages that are coming into you, and ultimately work to remove that the kind of crappy voice that jumps up in everybody's head every once in a while. And I think you'll feel a lot better towards August. But that's really about it for this month. I hope you have an awesome month. If you see anything in here that I may have missed, you know, feel free to leave a comment. But I do hope that you found it helpful, and I hope all of you guys have a great July. Bye-bye.